This episode is brought to you by Nordstrom. Summer's almost out and fall's calling. Luckily, Nordstrom has everything you need for the season ahead, all under $100. Discover new arrivals from your favorite brands like Mango, Princess Polly, Wave, Free People, BDG, and more. Whether you're planning a last-minute getaway, heading back to class, or refreshing your office looks, you'll find the latest trends and beauty must-haves without breaking your budget. It's easy, too, with free shipping, free returns, and in-store order pickup. Shop today, in stores, and at Nordstrom.com.
This episode is brought to you by Espolón Tequila. Slow, sticky, snoozy. They call these the dog days of summer. But Espolón? They don't do boring. Welcome to the Marg Days. Espolón Tequila. 100% blue Weber agave, born to shake up your summer. Just add lime, agave, and a little attitude. Visit espolontequila.com. Espolón Tequila, 40% alcohol, volume 80 proof. Copyright 2025 Campari America, New York, New York. Drink responsibly.
Welcome to this episode of Your Call, presented by the Headset app, where we tap into the wisdom of football's most impactful voices. Today we're joined by Coach Noel Rash, a legendary figure in Kentucky high school football. Coach Rash spent 34 years in the game, including 25 years at Beechwood High School, where he served as head coach for 17 seasons, leading the Tigers to multiple state championships and building a program known for discipline, toughness, and unity. In this conversation, Coach Rash reflects on what he sees as the most pressing challenge in today's athletic landscape, the erosion of team-first values in a me-first world. Drawing on decades of experience, he shares timeless insights on leadership, resilience, and the power of belonging to something bigger than yourself. Before we hear from Coach Rash, here's a little bit on our sponsor, the Headset app.
The Headset app, a communication platform for coaches that makes sense. After all the technology we need is already in our pocket. No more time-consuming setup, lugging around cases, storing equipment, worrying about range, or finding the right location for your base station. The Headset app is an encrypted voice platform that is compatible with any Bluetooth headset or earbuds. The Headset app is a more secure, reliable, and easy-to-use communication system, delivered at just a fraction of the cost. Just open the app, put in your headphones, and go. At practice, on game day, or whenever. The Headset app. Download in the App Store or on Google Play today.
Here's Coach Noel Rash.
Good afternoon, guys. My name is Noel Rash. I'm a retired high school football coach, 34 years. I spent 25 of those years at Beechwood High School, where I was the head coach for 17 years. You know, as I got later into my career, I started my career in 1986, got out for a little bit, went back and played a little college football, and then got back into coaching because I got to do what I wanted to do. I think it's important today that we look at where the sport of football, but sport in general, is going. And I think it's important that we make sure that these pendulum swings that we see in politics, that we see in all aspects of life, but certainly in sport, that we see this pendulum that at one time maybe they were too far on one side of it and the players were not awarded anything. It was strictly team. And now we've gotten to this point where it's gotten to the point where it's customer service and me. And I want to make sure that that pendulum doesn't swing too far the other way and that we're cognizant of it. We're just aware of what's going on. The concept of team to me is one of the most vital concepts that we teach, especially in football, because there's so many working parts. On every given play, there's 22 people on the field that are, and you're trying to coordinate all this, between you and the opposing team. And so that concept of team and working together is massively important. And one of the things that I used to share with my coaches, these kids would be coming down, after school in the high school setting and even at the collegiate setting, but they're coming in after classes. Some come in a little later than others. I started to see this trend and I was like, well, you can't make football more important than physics or, pick your subject matter. But the way I was able to justify it was what we're teaching these guys Yeah, it's not math. It's not the things that are part of your daily life. But what becomes part of your daily life is getting up and going to work, believing in a concept that, and after COVID, all got worried about sickness and things like that. And my concern was we got to teach people to get up and go to work. And we got to teach them to get up and go to work when things aren't their best. And that's part of my history background and the history of America, as far as I'm concerned. And and becoming something that you have these opportunities, but you've got to make those opportunities. You can't just be given to you. And I think football, along with many other sports, especially team sport, teaches that concept that I've got to give of myself to be a part of something. When I join this organization, I give up some of myself, and I'm worried about that concept being lost today. And so I think it's important that we share this information, and I would love to hear rebuttals and people will come back and say, hey, this is where I think this thing is myself, and have a conversation about it. But the thing that I justified more than anything was when my guys leave our program, they know what it means to be part of an organization, to get up and go to work, even when I'm not feeling well, to believe in something bigger than myself, like our faith teaches us, and to give to that organization, and it will give back. And I think that concept is vital in today's world. And I want to make sure that it doesn't get lost. Wow, guys, this shift, and that's usually how the pendulum swings. We've got to get it back where it's swinging down at the bottom and swinging in the middle and not too far to the right or left, and not to make that a political statement, but it's vital to me. And I think one of the stories that I share is I had a sophomore middle linebacker in 2020, and we're in the state finals, and we're playing a team by the name of Lexington Christian. They were undefeated, and they had beaten, I think, the team that went on to win the 3A state championship. They had beaten 3 or 4 teams that were in the state finals and went on to win the state finals, and we're playing them. I mean, they got a kicker that's all world. I mean, he's kicking 50-yarders in pregame, and I'm looking at him going, oh my goodness. So we get down the last 6 minutes of the game. They're driving. They're up 17-14. Long story short, we pick a ball up, take it back, get lucky, and kick a 30-yard field goal to tie it up. They get the ball back with about 5 minutes, drive it down, decide to kick a field goal from 40. This kid kicks a field, hits the top left part of the left upright, caroms down to the crossbar, hits it, and bounces out, and we go to overtime. Now, during that kick, with 2 seconds left to go in regulation, we had called a timeout to kind of ice him, and we had blocks that we had talked about on Wednesday and Thursday, and they got into a formation where they used 2 tight ends in this that were not eligible. They did not have eligible numbers. My coaching staff was extremely talented. We got all caught up in the moment whether they were going to come out and they were going to go for it or they were going to kick it. We were going back and forth. My middle linebacker, who was a sophomore, recognizes, because he's up for the block, recognizes that they got 2 tights, which takes him out of the block and puts in our 2 safeties that allows them. And without getting too far into it, we go for it. Our guy gets tripped. The kid kicks it. Like I said, caroms off. We go to overtime. Overtime, we score, kick an extra point. They score. And Austin Waddell was the young man's name. And he says, Coach, remember, man, they don't have those tight ends. I said, run the middle block, run it again. And this time we run through and block it in overtime and win a state championship. Now, that young man gave up of himself. He could have been worried about himself and his accolades and his Twitter feed or whatever. Pardon my ignorance with all that stuff, but, all the social media stuff. And Kerry was like, I want to win the game. I want to, this is about us. This is what's best. This is what we learned on Wednesday. The safety should be doing the block, and I'll cover the guys coming out of the backfield and if they run a fake. And we go on to win. I think it screams where we're at with that, with what should be being taught and how it should be. I've got plenty of examples of that, and every coach that's hearing this has got examples of that. It's so important that we do not get away from that team concept and the concept of belonging to an organization, because that is one of the most significant things we do as coaches of sport, of team sport, especially in the sport of football. This sport has brought us so much from the standpoint of entertainment value. I mean, obviously the money that's out there now with TV revenues and all the things that are going on, it's important. But what's more important to me is what goes on in the locker room, what goes on within your organization on a daily basis, and teaching young men and ladies, for that matter, to give up of themselves to be part of something bigger. And I know I've mentioned that 3 or 4 times, but it's a theme that it must be prevalent, or I'm worried about where that takes us if we don't make that prevalent. You've got golf, you got ping pong. I used to tell our kids, you want to be a rock star, this is not the place to be, because it's not going to be about you being in front of the band. It's going to be about the whole band. So the aspect of I want people to shine. Of course, I mentioned Austin, all these kids I've coached in 34 years, and I've mentioned one name so far. I didn't even mention the name Colin Graham kicks the field goal. The names will come out. The way the media is covered today and so all the things that are out there, the names are going to come out. What must be prevalent is my name along with the organization's name and how we're doing these things together and how it's a relationship that is necessary on both ends. I think last for me, more than anything else, is we've got an obligation. And it's not about giving people everything they want when they want it, exactly when they want it. That's just not the reality. Here I sit at almost 60 years old, and I would love to have my health be perfect, but it's not. And so with that, did I do anything wrong? No, I think I eat pretty healthy, but life comes at you, and you got to be willing to deal with those adversities, whether they're self-imposed or not. And that's the core of this whole concept that goes beyond just your work history. It takes you through life. And I want to make sure that that doesn't get lost in the modern era. And that's my biggest concern as we traverse through the 21st century. I appreciate your time today, guys.
That was Coach Noel Rash. More than just a coach, a teacher of life lessons that last far beyond the locker room. In a world that sometimes forgets the value of commitment, sacrifice, and team, Coach Rash reminds us why football still matters. His words are a call to all of us, coaches, players, and parents alike, to stay centered on what truly shapes character. Thanks for joining us on Your Call, presented by the Headset app. Until next time, keep coaching with conviction and leading with heart.